video is about change and ways of being. I'm Crystal Thomas, and I'm the co-founder of The Clear Solution. If you'd like to read more about me, please check out my bio on the Clear Solution website. What is a single word that best represents what we need to do to really be successful in our forward movement? Well, that single word is change. Yes, simply change. I saw a quote years ago, "Nothing endures but change." I've also seen, "You can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it." When we think about our minds, it is the way that we think, not just what we think. And again, from our last video, you don't have to believe everything that you think. Also from our last video, we talked about time moving forward. And here's a depiction of what we were talking about. If you are not moving forward with the times and keeping up with your goals, you're just simply not keeping up. You're living in the past. And how long can this go on for? Well, I'll tell you, I think it can go on forever if that's what you choose. And if you remember our last video, I talked about the word choose, because all of this is our choice. But when we think about it, being stuck, how well does that support us as we move into our future? Being stuck and future, I would say, are oxymorons. So you can see the depiction here, the graphical depiction of you, your future, and your future. So if you are stuck on the left, time just keeps moving, time marches on, and your future keeps moving out in front of you. And if you aren't keeping up with it, you can see your future is really moving into the distance. I've done a lot of teaching over the years with the concept of successful change. And I use this depiction by Ritchie. And you can see that successful change across the bottom is where you have a clear vision, you have enough pressure for change, you have the capacity for change, and you have formed some actionable first steps. So when we talk about a clear vision, it's actually seeing what the outcome is. We get to see the end before we begin. What is it that we want to accomplish? Is there some pressure for change? And what I mean is there a reason that we actually want to step into that? If we're just taking movement or taking action just to do something, maybe there's no reason to do it. But if we've got a clear vision and we really want to get somewhere, that in itself may be enough pressure for the change. When we talk about the capacity for change, we're basically talking about our resources. Do we have enough and the correct resources in place to effect the changes that will be necessary to meet the vision? And often when we talk about this capacity for change, we're talking about the people that we have in our fold, or it may just be us, whatever that is. But do we have the right people? Am I thinking the right way to create the change that will be required to meet my vision? And then from there, have I created the actionable first steps, whatever they may be? But they must be laid out and they must be very clear. And you'll learn as we move forward through the clear solution into each of the sections, there's goal setting that will very much play into these actionable first steps. When you have these four components, the clear vision, the pressure for change, the capacity for change, and the actionable first steps, then you've created the successful change. If you're missing the vision and you have the other three steps, what you have is a fast start that fizzles out. Just picture a balloon that you've let the air out of. You know what I mean. If you're missing the pressure for change and you have the other three components, yeah, it's not that important and it'll just go, as they say, to the bottom of the inbox. If you're missing the capacity for change, then try as you might in the other areas, you will have a lot of anxiety and frustration because you just don't have the resources that you need. And if you think about this just from your own aspect, if you're working with this, the capacity for change for you may simply be a change in your belief system. If you have the three components and you're missing the actionable first steps, you're off to a false start. You just simply haven't done any planning. You don't have a plan and you don't know where you're headed. And if you don't know where you're headed, that'll take you down any road. And that's not what you want to accomplish. So again, successful change includes all four components of beginning with the clear vision, making sure that there is enough pressure for the change. It's important enough to step into. You've got the capacity for the change, and you have some actionable first steps. That creates successful change. So I'd like to check in with you. How are you doing? How did your balance baseline look when you filled it out? Was that a wheel that you could ride? Were there areas that were really significantly less developed than you might want to have them? What do you see as your successes that you've had to date? And what challenges do you believe that you're facing? And it's interesting on challenges because, as I said that, what challenges do you believe that you are facing? That same, whatever that challenge is, may not be a challenge for another person at all because they have a totally different belief system than you have. And their belief system may allow whatever your challenge is to be something that they're considering to be an incredible success. So again, this is very individual and so steeped and based on our belief system. So how do we get more in balance? And what is it that we need? Is it more time that we need? Maybe there's other resources that we need. I'm going to take a few minutes to talk with you about be, do, and have. If you think about time, there's people who get an awful lot done in a day, and there's people that get very little done in a day. And yet everybody probably uses the time-old phrase, I'm busy. If you think about it, everyone has exactly the same amount of time, every week, the same amount of time every month, and the same amount of time every year. Some people, however, just get a lot more done in the time that we all have. Maybe it's something other than time then that really makes the distinction between what some people are able to accomplish and what others may not be able to accomplish. And that may be in one's being, how you really get to be. So let's talk about being. Many people believe that if you have something, maybe you have more time, maybe you have more money, I'm not sure, whatever it is, but maybe you have more of it. Then you can finally do something, which will allow you to be something. So here's an example. If I simply had more time, I'd be able to go spend more time on the beach. And then I would just be peaceful. I'd be content. Is that really true? How about if I was just peaceful? How about if I just started there? Havingness does not produce beingness. When you're being at your core and then you do something, the have is very easy to achieve. So how do you be? Well, I'm going to show you a ways of being chart, and then I'm going to ask you to choose 3 ways of being that you think will best serve you. So here is our ways of being chart. Now you could look at all of these words and they could just be words, or maybe you could see that all of these are positive words. All of these words are core words. And if in fact we were all of this, my goodness, this would really move our lives forward. I'm going to ask you to think about 3 words that would best support you. Now, as I say this, these are not words that will support you in your current thinking. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm asking you to do is to think about your future you, to think about the vision of you that you want to step into. And what would be the 3 words that would best support you in stepping into that new you? And they will be words that you are not currently engaged with in your life. Otherwise, you would already be that future you. I hope that makes sense to you. So again, I would like you to look at this list and pick 3 words from here that you think will best serve you moving into your future you, the vision of you that you have coming. And then I would like you to complete this sentence with the 3 words that you chose, using those 3 words in the most natural order that seems to fit. And I think you'll find that probably the order in which you chose your 3 words most likely will be the order in which you'll want to write them down. So for instance, you may say, I am an intentional, open, and surrendered woman. Now, if you're not a woman, I guess you'd say man. However, whatever it is for you is what you would say. But it is I am a or an blank, blank, and blank woman or man. So again, using this chart to choose your words, then you go to this sentence structure, fill in the 3 blanks, and then those become your ways of being. And those are the ways of being that will support you as you move forward. Now, those may change. You may decide that 6 months from now, those no longer support you because you now have those in you and you need 3 new words of being to keep moving forward. And I've had people say to me, Crystal, may I have 4 ways of being? Well, the answer is yes. I guess you could have 4, but 3 is really key. This works the best in this assignment and then in the placement of those ways of being into your life. Once you've written those down, I want you to think about them. I want you to read your sentence, read it out loud. Does it feel right to you? If it does, great, you're set. And then I want you to recite this out loud every day when you begin your day. I'd like you to have your ways of being written down on a little sticky note or whatever, and have it in clear view for you. Maybe one stuck to your computer monitor, maybe one stuck to your mirror on the way before you go out the door. Wherever it is that you think would make a difference for you, that it would keep reminding you what your ways of being are until you've got them so set in you that before you even really start to think about anything, you move to your ways of being. Make sure you're clear in your ways of being. And then you move forward with your thinking, with your decision making, based from those new ways of being. You'll be checking back with yourself throughout the day. Are you really in alignment with those ways of being? Because these ways of being are at your core. Your ways of being really support you in deciding and then declaring what's next for you and how you're moving forward in this incredible world. And then it so much more supports you to be able to do what you say you're going to do. There's three aspects to really creating outstanding results in your life. The first is commitment, the second is action, and the third is persistence. It's about thinking about what you want to do and making a commitment, making the decision, and then making the commitment to follow through on what you want. You're then going to have to set some action to allow your commitment to come into full fruition. And once you've put your action in place, you must be persistent with that action or those actions. And these three steps will guarantee your results. If you find you're not getting the results you want, you must go back and examine this to see what area is falling short. Is your commitment falling off? Is your commitment strong? And your actions aren't really the actions that will get you there. Or are your actions strong, but you're just not persistent? You're just not following through every day with your actions. But again, commitment, action, and persistence. This is what produces outstanding results for you. As you move forward with the clear solution and creating the life of your dreams, your best days ever, you'll see how some of the aspects of change that we're showing in this video, along with creating your ways of being, how well these will support you as tools in getting to where you want to be. So get out there, get started with your program, and make this your best day ever, and follow your dream.